Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life. All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art. I'm here tonight with Matt. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing better than the poor, sick bastards of Latria. I guess.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to start. And obviously, we're back with another Bonfire Walk with me. And we're going to be talking about Latria 3.2 and 3.3. We're going to wrap up this world tonight. And before we get into that, should we take care of a little business?
Oh, shit. We're getting right into it. Yeah, sure. Let's do
ready?
it.
Trivia question for tonight.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yes. Ooh, okay.
Episode 10 gives us one of the most sort of awkward, endearing, funny sex scenes I've seen in a television show in a long time. And the question I have for tonight is, it's the first part of the question is, what was Dougie doing when Dougie's wife sort of got all rawr and decided to make a move?
There's no way. Like, it's one of the, that's like on the tip of my tongue. I don't. Who is it on the Discord that's like, has Matt ever watched this? I've only watched The Return once, but I can almost kind of see the scene. I'm gonna say like, shit. I don't know. Was he making a cup of, like, just pouring a cup of coffee? I don't know.
Final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Not quite. I would have accepted two answers. The first answer I would have accepted was the real answer is he's eating a piece of cake, a chocolate piece of cake. Doesn't say a word. He's got like an awkward overhand grip like a toddler. You know?
Yeah.
And that's all he's doing. And she's just like, I find you really attractive. But I will say the other answer I would have accepted was earlier in the day, he's having a physical. And so he has his shirt off, getting his lungs listened to. And he's, McLaughlin put in the work, and, you know, he's pretty cut. And she's like, wow, he's lost a lot of weight, like in a good way.
Yeah, because that was the deal too. Like, he lost weight and.
Yeah. And so, like, right. And, you know, she's kind of looking at him like, I've never really noticed him before. Meanwhile, he's like trying to grab the stethoscope and go, he's not doing it, you know. But so I would have accepted either of those two answers. Now, a little bonus question, because I was surprised. I had totally forgotten this, and it's something I never could have answered myself. So, of course, I'm going to ask it as a question. What's Dougie's wife's name?
Oh, shit. I have no idea. Norma. I have no idea.
Her name, this is what I thought was so interesting. Her name is Janie E. Not Janie.
Oh.
It's Janie E. And I don't know why.
What is that a reference to?
I genuinely, I have no idea. I was going to sort of try and source it out, and I didn't. But I have no idea. But I am kind of curious.
Yeah, okay. Huh. I wonder if that's been discussed. I wonder if that's, or if it's even... Janie E. shares her full name with actress Jane Jones, who played Margaret Honeycutt in the pilot of Twin Peaks.
Oh.
It's unknown if this was intentional or not.
I could see it being intentional. I don't know if it is, but...
So that's the teacher.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know why the Janie E, though.
Right. That's what always threw me.
There's a little...
All right.
Yeah.
So, there we go. That was tonight's trivia question.
Very good.
And like you said, we're going to check in on those poor bastards of Latria 3.2 and see how they're doing. The answer, poorly. But yeah, so...
Can we start? I know we usually go down the rundown of how this level progresses.
Sure.
But that's like my least favorite part of this whole zone. So real quick, can we just talk about how great the ambiance is right from the get-go? Like, we already... What World 3 is, if I could just say, to start, is a masterclass in ambiance.
Yeah.
Because you get the sounds of the dungeon in 3.1. And then, I guess I jumped the gun a little bit because we need to talk about how we get to 3-2, the upper tower of Latria, because I don't think we mentioned that last time. But when we finally get there, we just get this creepy heartbeat. And you're just like, what the fuck is that? But
yeah. So
we got a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll start with what I always do. I'll read the archstone leading into this area. It's the archstone of the Demon Fool's Idol, which is, the one you're sort of checking when you get to the top, but it sort of gets into things a little bit. The church devoted to an idol mimicking the queen gave hope to the prisoners, but the malice behind it will crush their faint solace. So we're going to get into that crushing of the faint solace. And like you were saying, once you defeat the Fool's Idol, and maybe we touched upon this last time as well, like a couple of gargoyles swoop down, grab you, and carry you to the top of the tower. And of course, as we probably were discussing last time, that's the fool's promise that this makes, right? It's like, hey, go to the church, you'll be fine, and get to worship the queen. Turns out it's not the queen. It's an idol. You get snapped and dragged up to be used as hellscape fuel.
Experiments, right?
Yeah, souls. And
but isn't there also manipulation of like experimentation going on? I think when we get to the boss of 3-2, I think that's one of the redeeming things of this whole world is like it's this corrupted, perverse outcome of all these fucked up experiments and manipulations gone wrong. And I think it gives background to an otherwise completely uninteresting into this level.
Yeah. So now that you sort of tease like how it's not interesting, I'll just do the quick recap. The basic level design is you start up here, you go across, you hit a wall. So you have to go under it, pop up the other side, and you're good to go. That's a severe oversimplification. The actual level is honestly, I'm going to put this out there. I think it might be, you were saying the ambiance, it's a masterclass in ambiance. I think it might be the most visually striking level in all of Demon Souls. The way you're standing out there on the platform, green, like dark fog, like the spires off in the distance, reminding me a little bit of Ash Lake, the way they have the trees off in the distance. But here it's like the ivory spires of Latria all over the place. These fractured, broken paths, cutting across the top at an impossible height.
And you're way up high.
Yeah.
You're also like way up high, which I think is because you said like you just go forward and go over here, but that is a very narrow path that you're traversing across and climbing higher and higher throughout this level. Yeah, it does have really striking when I said ambient, like the entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
All the visuals, the sound effects, the beating heart, it's actually a level I should like a lot more because of the creepy and the fucked up things and the just like I want to say it's very am I using this correct? Like very liminal horror-esque.
Oh. Full circle, baby.
Like it's a liminal type of horror.
I think so. Well, now you're gonna make me Google it. I'm going to let you Google it.
Well,
somebody, Patrick, will you Google that for us? Patrick's on the
Patrick,
producers table.
I'm right on this. So here's what AI says is a subgenre of horror that draws on the fear of transitional in between spaces like empty hallways, abandoned malls, or endless hotel corridors. And I think that works really well here because, like, to me, that's like this like space is a part of that. And a lot of this level, you're not fighting yet. You'll get some gargoyles that attack you and all that stuff, of course. But as you traverse this level, it's not an enemy dense level. No. Even when you go down below and you get to this creepy swamp area, there's way more enemies, but it's almost as sparse as 3-1, but it's nowhere as dense as World 1 or World 2. And so it's these creepy passageways and creepy ascending these staircases and what horrors are they leading to, and then descending down and what horrors await you beneath. I like all of that.
Right. My experience with 3-2 mainly 3.2. We'll get to 3.3 in a bit. Is I sort of respond to it in a similar way how our discussion about Stonefang tunnels went, where my moment-to-moment experience, I don't love it. But once we chatted about it and all the things going on underneath the surface and in the background made me go like, wow, there's actually so much here. I just don't love to play it per se.
I think you just took the words, because right before we hit record on this, I mentioned this may be one of my least favorite areas of the game. Mm-hmm. And I think, and that gets to exactly what you just said. The gameplay experience of 3.2 I find very frustrating and unsatisfactory. There's no where where FromSoft excelled in designing a great lore setting with lots of great atmosphere and striking visuals, they failed in level design.
Yeah.
This is the perfect, you work through the level, and I think you were going to get this. You work through the level, and we need to talk about the beating heart and stuff, of course, but eventually you meet a very interesting NPC, and eventually you find your way to an elevator down, and you descend into the swamp, and then you work your way up the backside of that wall you mentioned. You find your way around. It's perfect for what I think would happen in a future game is you get that elevator down and eventually you would have found another elevator up as a shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
That just streamlined the whole level. And I think it just goes a little bit too long without that brilliant level design to kind of make this a more streamlined playthrough as you get through it. Now, of course, you do eventually, as you progress, you get a checkpoint going to the boss, but then, so I don't love the level design, and then I think it has some of the most frustrating encounters in the whole game.
Yeah.
The man-eater boss is utter bullshit, even if I like it from a lore standpoint. And the fucking Cthulhu guy, I forgot what they were called already.
They're the prison
on
guards.
The stairway up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guards, like, fuck that guy on the stairway up to a very frustrating boss that, until my last playthrough, is super frustrating because I cheesed him with fire this time. But anyway, so that's where it's frustrating, is it's not a convenient thing to play through on repeat, and then it's capped with very frustrating experiences. And when I go through it, it's just like, this level's not hard, I just have to spend the time to get through it.
Right.
And it's not... Yeah. I have to stumble around in the swamp because it's really hard to see everything, and it's not like you got to find the right passageway up. Like, it's not hard to walk through there. It's just like,
Yeah. And I will say, in one of the earlier sessions, we talked about how, like, Demon's Souls is a very different game your second time through compared to your first time through. I'll tell you, my first time through, even on the old PS3, you get to that opening platform and you see, like, the braziers sort of, dotting the landscape, and it just feels like this massive, and then a little personal connection. And then you start proceeding forward and the gargoyles start to come. I will say on the PS5 version, you really get to see, like, the texture of the stone. And this is just purely a personal thing. On the channel, I've played a bunch of sessions of a really old game called Darklands. And in the opening of Darklands, it's like 16-bit, 16-colored cheese. There's a gargoyle that flies around, and for some reason, I don't know why, because they don't look anything alike, but I put them together in my head. So I was like, oh, that guy. So,
nice.
So I had, like, a little personal thing, but otherwise, yeah. And so, like, I will tell you, my first time looking, I'm like, oh my God. And you've got the spire in the distance. Can you see the beating heart from the opening platform, or do you have to?
No, you just hear it.
You
just
hear it. Right,
You don't get to see it until later. Yeah.
Right. But you do have that giant, like, spire in front of you, and I'm just like, whoa.
Well, and that houses the heart, right?
I think yes, yeah, yes, exactly. That's probably why you can't see it, because from this direction it's blocked. And so, but then you get to the other side of it, and it's just like, oh, okay. So, like, your second time through, where it was good in the past, this time it's kind of like, like you were saying, it's just, I got to get through it.
Right. I think you nailed it. Because on the first playthrough, I was like, and I think I knew a little bit, but I didn't know what the reveal was.
Okay.
Like I'd heard people talk about this level, and so like you hear this beating heart, and then you get this great reveal, and there is a giant fucking beating heart, and eventually you have to knock the heart down, and inside that heart are all of these nasty ass scorpion dudes, and finding those scorpion dudes the first time, you're like, what kind of fucked up world is this? What, like, where are we? And it's all these experiments gone wrong. That sense of discovery on the first time was actually really interesting. But on second playthroughs or revisiting that world to get world tendency stuff or just to go back through it, it's just really inconvenient. And then that sense of discovery's gone. So now it's just like a chore of, oh, I got to go break that chain. Oh, I got to go break that chain. Oh, I got to run all the way over here to get the elevator down. And God help me if I die, because then I have to run all the way through the level to get to that elevator and get down and get back up there. It's not a particularly hard level through that, but it certainly loses, the shine wears off on repeated plays because it becomes a tedious level versus a level of wonder, which is a shame because on that first playthrough, it is just a nightmare. Like it is a nightmare level, not in difficulty, just in terms of theme, and that connected. And then, but now I don't appreciate it anymore because of the tedium and the boss at the end.
Right. And I will say, like, again, I'm trying to like put myself in my own shoes, however many years ago it was since I first played this. I think this is the first time, well, Latria leans hard into the horror.
Yes.
And you get that with the prison guards in 3-1, but nothing really prepares you for what's coming here. In my mind. And so like you were saying, like, so you're making your way across like the platforms early on, and you're fighting gargoyles, and you know, there's stone creatures and they fly, and they've got, you know, as you can sort of sometimes see them in the distance, you just see like glowing eyes and kind of a shape moving, but their eyes really pierce from the distance. And it's a nice touch, not interesting to fight. One interesting thing, you know, looking around, they all drop some kind of warrior soul. And so there's a lot of speculation online about that's telling you like where they come from. These are basically warriors trapped, or the warrior souls trapped to power these gargoyles. And I was just double checking, but yeah, basically all the gargoyles, when you kill them, a lot of them will drop like warrior souls that you can cash in.
People turned into gargoyles, or are they powered with the souls? Are those, obviously the warriors probably come from the prison. They go to the church and they think they're going to ascend or whatever, and then so are they just powered by souls, or are they people turned in? I don't know.
Yeah, the things that I saw, again, going by people like Vadi Video, who, you know, I think he makes the argument that they're powered. So you take the souls of warriors and you specifically put them into the gargoyles as these guards. But then you make your way into the tower, which is, you know, where you see it ahead of you. So it does make a sort of clear, like, oh, I want to head there. And when you get in there, like you're describing, there's, I don't want to undersell how big, pulsating, and grotesque this heart is.
Right.
It's just enormous, and it's trying to hold itself up. It's got tendrils out, and I imagine at some point when it was smaller, it might have been successful, but it is too big to do that now. And so it's got these massive chains to keep it elevated. And so your first goal is to make your way around this. This is the wall you were saying, like when I said you hit a wall, what you hit is you hit this enormous heart that's gotten so big it's actually blocked access to a number of passages around it. And so you make your way around and you find one of the anchor points where these chains are bound, and you see 4 hollowed around it, sort of manipulating magic. Now in my mind, it was always sort of like it's their souls being channeled into soul magic, but maybe they're just manipulating the soul magic themselves. But I always felt like, why would you have like,
I kind of thought they were cultists, like the guy right before Fool's Idol. That's how I took them.
But when I looked at them, they looked like the prisoners from 3-1, at least in my recollection. Maybe I have this wrong, but the interesting thing is, like,
you could be right.
When you start to attack them, if you don't kill them in one go, it breaks the spell. Like, they stop manipulating the magic. But like the prisoners in 3-1, they don't fight back. They'll just stand there and let you kill them. And so in my mind, it was just like these broken, kidnapped, hollowed that manipulate the magic. And in my mind, is being sucked out of them. And that's why you got to keep getting a fresh batch, not just to fuel the experiments or what have you, but also because it's the soul. Because, magic is soul magic. Like that's where it comes from. So it's powered by soul.
Right.
That's why the one comes back. So in my interpretation, basically they're just getting sucked dry to keep these chains in place, at least these 4. You kill them, magic spell's broken, the chain breaks, first anchor point is severed, and the heart starts to collapse in the central part of this main tower. And then you're able to proceed around it, now that you've made a little space. And you were describing earlier, you then encounter an NPC.
Yeah, we meet Yurt, the silent chief, and Yurt's kind of a badass.
Are you here to fight the demons? If so, then help me escape this place. I am on your side. I have come to face the demons. Thank you. I will remember this. I am certain we will meet again.
He's an assassin. He's just downright evil, and I think it's one of the coolest things. And it's such a ballsy thing. Now, unfortunately for me, I knew the deal with Yurt before I got to Yurt. But how ballsy is it of FromSoft of like, oh, don't kill these people all game, like don't kill these people, they're important. You meet an NPC, oh, and by the way, if you don't kill Yurt, he's gonna start killing your NPCs back at the Nexus. And that's so ballsy to do in a first game. Like, now here's the other thing, if they did this in Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 fanboy purists would lose their shit. Like, how dare FromSoft take a character and have them kill our characters? But because it's established here, it's impressive and different. So yeah, if you don't kill Yurt, he goes back and he starts fucking up the people back at the Nexus.
Yeah,
which is so amazing.
Right, and if that happens, like there's no coming back.
No, right. Yeah.
And my understanding is, just to make it a little more interesting, so the first time I played it, he did kill my NPCs. But what I was trying to...
I wish they did for me too.
Yeah, and so I was just like, what's going on? And I think, if my research is sort of correct, the first NPC to die, basically he kills anybody that has anything to do with soul magic, the faith people, the magic casters. Like, I don't know if he'll attack the blacksmith, but he will definitely clear out a number of others. But anyway, the point is that when the first one dies, I don't know if he's actually gone back to the Nexus yet. He might still be here, sort of wandering around. So it sort of throws suspicion off.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah. Like, you don't know, at least in the remaster I was reading, that's sort of how it starts. Like, somebody dies, but he's not yet back in the Nexus. So,
okay. Here, I looked it up if you want to know. Or I don't have to reveal the secret if you don't want to.
I mean, I think we have to talk about spoilers. So, I mean, I know the whole, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Because you go back and there's 2 dead bodies and they're no ones, but Yurt will still be there.
Okay.
So you could get the 2 dead bodies. They don't matter. You go back and kill Yurt. You can, once you kill a demon, then Yurt will begin killing other named NPCs if you leave him alone.
That's what it. But he is in the Nexus though, right? Is that
he stays in the level until you go kill a demon.
That's okay. Yeah.
And then
got it. Okay. So it's sort of halfway.
And then I think it's based off bosses going forward after that.
Okay. Yeah. And so, like I said, like I just started having NPCs die. Now, at the time, it wasn't the worst thing in the world because, I tended not to do magic to begin with. And he sort of goes after the faith people, the magic casters, that's his main targets. But yeah, there's a whole hit list.
Yeah, Frank's apprentice. Who cares?
Yeah,
exactly. But he does kill Patches, which is interesting,
yes.
right? Because like Patches is not a good, quote unquote, good character, and I know there's very few like purely good characters, other than my homegirl Arena from Dark Souls 3. And so it's interesting to me because now that I looked up the list again, I've never experienced him killing someone, but Patches is kind of early.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So now I think I know the answer to this, but Yurt works for Mistopheles, who is unlocked if you follow a certain quest line and you kill the NPCs, and it's a whole nother thing you can look at. I'm assuming you've not gone through that.
No, because I think again, when I was trying to read up on it, if you want to get Mephistopheles to show up, you have to have like black character tendency, and I've never achieved that. I don't even know if I've achieved white character tendency. I know world tendency, yes, but I don't know about character. So I've never seen Mephistopheles. I've never seen, and so yeah, like I think what ends up happening is, Yurt will actively, they're working together, and Yurt will actively, is it Yurt? Yeah, the silent chief. He will actively kill the people. Mephistopheles will not. She wants you to do it, and so she hands you the list. But I've never seen her. I don't know what the outcome is if you help her. I don't know if it opens up an ending. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I think I looked it up one time, but I don't remember what the outcome is because I was like, that's a lot of work. And I was soured by the character tendency stuff when I lost like white tendencies by facing off, killing off like invaders and stuff. Anyways, I just
Have you ever been able to achieve
interest in that kind of stuff?
Full tendencies?
No, remember we tried to do multiplayer so I could kill you to get white tendency because you can get a ring from oh my gosh, what's the little bald dude called?
Oh, the Monumental.
The Monumental, thank you. If you get pure white tendency, you can go get a ring from the Monumental.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm a trophy.
Yeah.
Little trophy hoarder, and rings are one of them. But then I found that whole experience so frustrating. That's like, I'm not going to do the.
I'm good.
Mephistopheles. But it's so crazy to think. So the more important thing to talk about here is one, FromSoft has the balls to introduce Yurt that kills and permanently kills NPCs that teach you spells, and it's not you start off with like the apprentices, but like the main Sage Frake and Saint Urbane, like those people are gone. And then they introduce this other character that you have to jump through all of these hoops to even get them to show up. Then you have to jump through more hoops to see their quest to completion. And like sometimes people talk about how fragile the quests are in Dark Souls 3, and I just want to be like, like, look at the whole fucking Yurt. Now, in their defense, Mephistopheles is like this hidden quest line, whereas like Dark Souls 3 main quest lines are very fragile and easy to fuck up, which they shouldn't be. But yeah, no, it's really cool that they hid this. I know Mephistopheles isn't like right here, right now, but this is where it makes sense to talk about her. Yeah. I just think it's really, really impressive for a game company to do this in their like first go.
Yes. It's so, I don't know if it was intended this way, but there's a confidence to it where you're just like, find it, don't find it.
Yeah. Have your NPCs slaughtered or not.
Yeah. And you'll never figure it out until you look it up. And
yeah, so is that what you ended up doing? Did you look up why are my NPCs dying?
Yeah, because I was like, because I was getting screwed. Like one of them might have been important to me. That I was like, oh, whoa, like this is going to really mess up the game. But if you haven't played Demon Souls, the Dark Souls penalty for not figuring out what's happening is you lose Firelink Shrine, the bonfire, and it's gone for the game. Is it gone for the game? I think it is.
I don't know. I've never let it happen. So yeah I do forget. So I completely forgot about the Dark Souls guy because I'm so used to killing him right away.
Yeah.
And it's just like yeeting him off the cliff. And it's like, Yeah, did that one get you? Did Dark Souls get you too, or did you know that one?
No, there's a couple things. I think in Dark Souls, so like Yurt basically says, "I'm here to hunt demons." You're like, "Oh, that sounds legit." In I'm kind of here to do that too. And then when you see his hit list, you're like, "Oh no, I see. Okay, yeah, I see what you're doing." In Dark Souls, the character's name is Latria, and he basically, the voice actor, is very,
yeah,
he's got that kind of laugh going on, and then he like sits right across from the Firekeeper and is like, "It'll be fine." And you're like, and then the interesting thing is, if you look at his armor, it's basically a gold version of Yurt's. It's very similar in design, shape wise.
Up right now.
Yeah, pull up the image and see if I'm making that up, or if that's true. I always thought there was similarities in the look of his armor that made me go like, Yurt was a bad dude. This guy seems like, the golden version of that, but I might not have that.
I don't know if I would notice it. Like, they both have spiked pauldrons. I can maybe see it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but somehow his helmet struck me similarly, even though now that I'm seeing a picture of it, it's just the angle from where he's sitting.
You just realizing how full of shit
it's totally different. But yeah, from how he sits, I always thought he had sort of like the points coming out of his helmet the way Yurt does, but it's not quite the same. But there was just
I see similar in the shoulders. That's interesting. Do they do that in Dark Souls 2?
Do they do that in Dark Souls 2? That is a great question. I do not recall an NPC actively killing people around your home base, but I will confess Dark Souls 2 is the one I remember the least, because it's not my favorite. So,
and I said that if they had started that in Dark Souls 3, I know Dark Souls 3 has some twists with character lines, but I don't think there are evil NPCs, but I don't think they start killing people.
No.
In 3. I don't think there's anything like that in 3.
No. It's I don't say like, how dare you, but it is punitive. And so I could see wanting to back off of that a little bit.
Sure.
But
what about do they do it in Elden Ring?
Do they do it in Elden Ring? Does anybody kill people in the round table?
I mean, I know shit goes down in the round table. Like, there's a few things that end up happening in the round table, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, I think, if you leave them unchecked.
I don't think so. The one I would be curious about is the sort of cursed dung guy.
Yeah, but I don't think he does. I don't think he ever does.
No.
I mean, he goes around and kills other NPCs, but that's a quest line you like purposely have to initiate.
Yes.
In Dark Souls 3, the closest thing to this that I can recall is like pushing NPCs too far. So you can kill one, which actually you should do to kind of like get one of the better endings, and then another one is like keep relying upon one on so much that eventually they meet their demise.
Right.
Which is of course Grey Rant, who's a real awesome dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really cool, and I honestly forgot about the Dark Souls. I forgot about Latria completely.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to like everyone tells you like, yeah, kill this guy as soon as you can.
Take his FAP ring and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's funny is like you described this heart and how monstrous it is, and your observation of these whatever these guys are doing, these potential prisoners or whoever manipulating their souls, and it's like this nightmare description. But like I said, we meet Yurt, and then once you move past Yurt, you find an elevator down, and then like by that point you've seen the heart,
right?
And you've seen things, and then you go down and you descend into this swampy pit, which again I love the vibes of. And then you really get to see some of the really fucked up experiments. These like half scorpion, half dudes that are crawling across. Everything's creepy, and it looks like it's just cool. And so it's like everything you described was nightmare fuel as well. and then it only gets worse.
That's the thing. It's you still have no idea, because as you're describing, like the back half is a scorpion, the front half is like the tortured face of probably the poor bastard who donated his top half to science. And then like you get your second, like they have one of these in 3-1. It's like a giant ball of limbs. But it's sort of trapped in this little section of a wall. So you're never getting like a great look at it. But here there's one, and also the swamp, we should mention, just giant lake of blood. It's not water, it's blood. And, you know, and from this lake of blood are these just grotesque sort of tendrils, tubes that go up to the heart.
Yes.
I can tell you, Vadi Video will tell you that the bodies, whatever's sucked up from the prison, get dumped into this lake, get decayed, get sucked in by these tubes that go up into the central chamber of the heart, where the experiment, where the blending goes together. But yeah, and so like this ball, again, it's just a bunch, it's like dozens and dozens of trapped unfortunates just globbed together in a nightmare. Just an absolute nightmare. And yeah, the scorpion, it's so well done. And so this is, again, one of those examples where playing it's not that interesting, but experiencing it is just, and again, like, I don't know if any part of Demon Souls leans this hard into the horror. Not many Souls games lean this hard into the horror. I mean, it's almost like Bloodborne, where, spoilers for Bloodborne,
I was going to say,
I mean,
it's very Bloodborne-esque in a lot of ways.
But like Bloodborne, like, throws you like, oh, by the way, it's not just horror, it's also this. Like Demon Souls is like, oh, it's not just like a, you know, like zombies. It's also the most nightmarish thing you've ever seen in your life. And for me, it was sort of like a twist and a sorts. My first time, I was like, wait, what am I looking at?
You know what's interesting? When we talk later about World 5, which is also the stuff of nightmares, and you would think that that's the frustrating level, but for whatever reason, this is, and it is a frustrating level because you have slow walk and all that shit, but it's actually a level where, again, I love the environment, but I enjoy spending time there.
Yeah.
Here, it's just a shame because of everything you just talked about. And 3-1 approaches that in level of like transcending up and downstairs, and it's never smoothed out in a way in later games where we get a shortcut. You clear the first part of 3-1, you get a way to straight down to the Fool's Idol or anything like that. But because I think it's shorter and it's packed with less bullshit, that I give it more forgiveness, because 3-1 and 3-2 are very similar. 3-1 on its surface is just a prison, right?
Yeah.
But how much lore did we talk about last time we got together? And it's like so many layers. And then here we are. Like, this one is a little more in your face. It's not like deeper layers of just, oh, this isn't just a prison. This is a fucking nightmare hellscape that you're transcending and seeing all these fucked up things. Yeah. It's so well done. It's a shame that I don't enjoy playing this level more because I would like taking it in. I mean, there's so much beautiful stuff, just so much beautiful atmosphere and imagery inside Demon Souls, and I think all Souls games encourage exploration and encourage just soaking things in. I think Bloodborne, like, you can just look off a bridge and you can just look back and you see a different, you know, the bridge from the beginning of the level. Like, you can always place yourself in that world.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of why it's worth it to take these things in. All of this to say, I don't want to sit here and take things in this level anymore. You know, right, I mean, it's still good. It's still part of a very good game that we both really enjoy. It's just, I've never felt attached to World 4. I think World 4 is just something I kind of run through, but this one feels tedious. And I mean, I've beat that. I've said it. It is what it is, but yeah.
Well, so now let's start getting into the tedium, because as you come out of this blood lake, you start making your way back up towards the second anchor point. And on your way there, you encounter your first Red Phantom prison guard. And I wanted to get into this because in my mind, like I as I've said a million times, like I wonder why there's a dead body here that's in this particular place. They're not. They could have been regular prison guards. They're not. The Red Phantom prison guards. Mm-hmm. And Red Phantoms usually, in my mind, occur for one of two reasons. One is invaders, which is how I interpreted, like in the Stonefang tunnels. There's the two red guys that charge you near the elevator. I took them as sort of like invaders in a sense. I don't know what they really are, but that's in the general way how I took it. But then that also is Black World tendency brings about Black Phantoms. And in my mind, the prison guards are not invaders. They belong there, which then leads me more down the road of this is leaning towards Black World tendency, even though it's not. But in my mind, that lends weight to the fact that they've done something horrible. What's going on here?
That makes sense.
Is an unimaginable sin. It on its own is so bad that it creates the blackness of a tendency, even without the tendency to invite Black Phantom versions of the creatures. It's that bad. Now, this is me pulling it out of my butt. I don't know, but that's how it struck me when I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's a choice.
Are there Red Phantoms at neutral tendency on the way to Old King Allant?
Yes, I think,
or not Old King Allant. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, the other old king.
Just regular king, false King Allant.
No, who's the old guy in the towel? King Duran?
In 3-3?
No, fuck. No, in 1-1, the guy in the church.
Oh, Old King Duran. Yes. Is there?
It is Old King Duran.
I think so. Yeah.
Are there Red Phantoms on the way to him?
No, there's a red-eyed knight blocking the bridge.
There's a red-eyed knight. That's what it is.
Yes,
it's a red-eyed knight. Okay.
Now
I was trying to see, because now I know if you get to Black Tendency, then yes, there are some on the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Art, and I think that makes total sense. And I never thought why we get two Red Phantom jailers back to back. Now the one later is later on, right before the boss. This one never gave me as much struggle because you don't have the environmental challenges.
Right.
It's just a hard ass guy that will probably if you get caught in their trap, you're probably dead. Yeah. It's a very formidable foe, but I never thought about why they're there, and I buy it. I don't know if there's anything to support that, but I totally buy that.
Yeah. I'm just making it, but it was just like, because again, like it didn't have to be red. It could have just been a jailer. And
right.
And, I think, in my mind, the other time I remember specifically, like on your way 1-4, I think, when you're in this like courtyard with like a dead dragon in the front of it, and then behind them is the spirits of the 3 Archstone guys. The archer, I thought they were Red Phantoms, and then in a way I was like, that doesn't feel like Black Tendency. That feels more invasion, or I don't know what, but it doesn't feel.
Yeah. And towards the tail end of 1-3.
That's what it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, before you get into the church that leads up to Old King Allant.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Out there on the steps.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just something that jumped out at me.
No, I like it.
Yeah. And now you're clear to make your way to the second anchor point of the chains. Same setup. 4 guys channeling something. You kill them. In my recollection, they don't fight back. Second anchor point severs. The heart cannot hold itself up, and I think it even tries. Like in the cutscene, you can see its tendrils gripping, and it just collapses, crashes, and ruptures. And what happens when it ruptures, Matt?
Oh, it's so good. It's so... You're watching, like, you have this heartbeat in your heartbeat, and you finally bring it down, and it hits, and it ruptures, and out comes so many half scorpion, half fucked up dudes. So many pour out, and then when you actually get down there, it's not that many.
No.
I was like, oh boy, here we go. This could be a huge fight. And I was like, wait. Where's
almost like,
everyone?
is this the boss?
Yeah, well, you do want to go down there because there's tons of items. Like, all these items pour out, and like important items as well. So you definitely want to go down there. But I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to fight so many of these guys.
Yeah.
And they're not particularly hard, but they are an enemy that can humble you.
Yes. If you're not careful,
if they get you, they're gonna get you good.
Yeah.
But I do love that imagery, like falls and then they just come at so good.
And you do have to be careful because
the level takes on like a more like darker tone then, because now you start like seeing them on the walkways and stuff. Like you can like the level gets a little darker, a little creepier, and now you're running into more things other than just a random gargoyle, which I think is cool. Again, great atmospheric and progression storytelling throughout this whole level.
Yes. And like you're saying, like they start to populate the whole level, and it did creep me out. It's just like these things are like everywhere. It's like cockroaches that have just infested everything now.
Yes. Yeah.
And then sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you make your way and you finally make your way back to the tower, and the heart has fallen. You go down and you explore, and you ultimately find out that there's one pathway up.
Yeah.
And it's a winding path. Before we talk about the winding path up, is there anything else you want to mention in the level?
No, I think I will say no. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. You do get a checkpoint here. Right?
In what sense?
I mean, you get a bonfire here.
No, there's no bonfire, but it does open up. It does make that's what I was about to get into, is the shortcut of the level then becomes like a straight shot into the main tower where the heart was, and then you're able to circle around it. You don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this does reveal the shortcut.
Because I did know, like, because what happens next, and I should have a better memory of that, because what happens next is so much. I just remember playing Madden, and when people would get an interception that they didn't do, we'd say like CP poo poo, like it used to be like CPU interception, and then we just changed it to CP poo poo interceptions, where like the computer did it.
Yeah.
And the next part of this level, both stages, is just so much CP poo poo. So it's this narrow ramp up, and then it's a red demon jailer, and you can't stand there and fight him because he's so strong, and you can't stay back because he's just gonna magic missile you, and if you get close to him, he's gonna trap you. And so what eventually I've learned is, like, you just run past this guy, roll under his freeze, and then just beat the shit out of him. The problem is you're on a narrow pathway, and if you roll and fall to your death. And so yes, it's a very short run back to the boss, which is also CP poo poo, but this run back is one of the most frustrating because it's so easy, but it's also so dumb run backs in all of Demon's Souls.
Yeah,
like I would contend it's Old King Alot is stupid because of the elevator that takes fucking 10 minutes. Like, it takes so long to go up that elevator.
Yeah.
And it has like Red Eye Knights that you like, once you know them, you can get around them. But this one is just so frustrating, I think.
Yeah. So I will say two things. One, we talked about it on our spooky episode around Halloween. I have an unbelievable fear of heights. And so this level, like right from the word jump, and it applies to video games. Like there's an old game that I loved called Star Wars Jedi Knight. It was a first person shooter. It was the sequel to Dark Forces, and it had really incredible 3D vertical level design that made me nauseous because I was just like, that was so high. So even if it's just total fake video games from 20 years ago, it still gets me. So that staircase in particular is so narrow and so OSHA violating that it's
exactly.
Like no handrails, no nothing. Now I will say the next time, well, you may never have to play the game again. We're covering it. So you're done. You can put this one down if you never want to touch it again after this. But if you ever play it again, a lot of the time on that staircase, and this is one of the great things about Demon's Souls, somebody will put like a message marker down, like part of the way up the stairs. And usually what that's marking is where you can stand, where the phantom won't approach you. Like it's too far away so that he won't see you, and he'll stop and he'll turn around. And what I do is, usually there's somebody's kind enough to do it. I just stop. The guard comes down. He turns around and he sort of shambles back up. He walks so slowly and is so inattentive, especially if you put on the thief ring, that you can literally just run up behind him and beat the crap out of him before he does anything. That's what I do. I don't.
Now, that would be fine the first 2 times. But the problem is, a great approach. You get to the top of this tower and you get to the boss.
Yeah.
And I don't think any boss other than Old King Duran killed me more.
Right.
And Old King Duran was skill based. Old King Duran, I just, like, he was my, like, once I knew Old King Allant, then Old King Allant was a great fight. I really liked that fight, but once I got it.
Yeah.
Man-eaters. So we step in, and if essentially you fight this boss, you walk into the arena, and it's another narrow, straight shot passageway. Now there's a big cauldron in the middle, and you kind of have this platform, but it's one long hallway, cauldron, one long hallway. But it's not a hallway; it's a fucking walkway. You're way up high in the air, and you walk in. And this thing swoops down, and it's this giant half man, half lion, half gargoyle clawed beast with a fucking snake attached to its ass instead of a tail. And so, yeah, I would have the patience to wait for that thing to turn its back. But when I'm on like my 25th attempt of Man-Eaters, I'm not doing that. Sorry. Right. And the first time I ever played Man-Eaters, I didn't cheese him.
Right.
I played it for real. So Man-Eaters is great. Fine. You're on a narrow passageway. But now this motherfucker flies.
Right.
Okay. So, and the problem is it's an early Soulsborne game. And one thing about Souls is, like, they don't do great with vertical boss fights.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy jumps up in the air, and you basically have to lure him down. And he tackles you and knocks you back. And you have no guardrails, which is fine, okay? If that was it, get good. Don't let him tackle you. Don't get knocked off. Find a way to lure him down. Get it. Well, guess what? At some point, here comes along Tweedledee and Tweedledum. There's 2 of them for no fucking reason, and they both fly. And obviously, this is very much a boss of, like, don't you dare camera lock. And so you're bouncing one, he may fly up in the air, but then you gotta worry about the next one coming behind you. Fucking hate Man-Eaters.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, and we'll get into some things with the 3-3 boss, but it was the first, there's a lot of, like, this feels kind of cheap. Like, they'll sort of,
so cheap.
They'll, like you said, they'll tackle you. And when you get tackled, it'll knock you back. And sometimes you feel like, I don't know why that knocked me off the ledge. I felt like if it knocked me straight back, I'd still be on the platform. Or where was I supposed to roll out of the way? How am I supposed to dodge this? I can't tank it because it can still knock you off the ledge. And the net platform's too narrow to have been able to roll. And you start to feel like there was nothing I can do. And when Souls fights are great, it's when you sit there and like, that was my bad. I see what I did. And this is one of those first instances where it's just like, I don't know if I could have done something there. That was just like wrong place, wrong time, and it felt random.
Yeah. And the whole fight feels random. The, like, how man-eaters operate and, like, aggro onto you doesn't feel well programmed. They're very susceptible to abuse by the thief ring. Like, they're dumb in the sense, even just from, like, programming and how they interact. But just how they carry out their attacks also feels very random. I have no problem with 2-character boss fights. Right. I love Sister Frida. One of probably my favorite, easily my top 3 of all Souls fights. And that, that's a multi-stage, multi-character fight that I am on the edge of my seat the entire time on. But like you said, Art, it is very much that's on me. I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
Ornstein and Schmau.
Yeah.
Okay, that top 5 in the whole series as well. Amazing fight. I don't mind 2 characters. The problem is it just feels like random bullshit slapped on a 6-foot plank that is just like another thing, and they have this really just bullshit ability to fly in the air, and there's fucking 2 of them. And I don't know why this fight never resonated. And when I finally got it, I was just like, what's her name in Elden Ring? I don't know. Melania?
Melania. Yeah.
Melania. Like, Melania was the hardest. I don't know. Whether she's the hardest or not. Like, I felt so satisfied when I finished Melania, and when I finished Sister Frida, or a lot of fights in Dark Souls 3 felt epic and rewarding. When I got done with Maneater, I was just like, fuck you, I never want to fight you again.
Yeah. Yes. And I'll tell you, like, part of my frustration with the fight is, usually I can beat it in a couple of tries, but I've subscribed to the Unga Bunga approach to my Souls playing. And when they take off flying, I'm just like, well, I'm just going to stand here now for like a minute and a half until it decides to come back down. I'm just like, all right. And sometimes that's buying time for the second one to show up. I'm like, nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
And so I'm just like, and what I will say is, one of the strengths of Souls games in my mind is, there's a lot of repeats, but they iterate successfully. And I find the Dark Souls version of this fight really enjoyable. And it's the very first boss fight, the 2 gargoyles on the church roof.
Great fight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, that's a great fight. A lot of similarities. Maybe not quite as tough in terms of how many hit points they can take, but you're at a great height. There's 2 of them, and but they give you a little more room to play. You still have to worry about it, but just by making it just a little bit wider, it just turns the fight. And also having like the slope, which actually you can use to your advantage. Like, it just makes it a lot more tactical, a lot more interesting, and just genuinely, like, I really enjoy the gargoyle fight. I really don't like Maneater.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. Like, thematically, it's like when I go back and actually learn about Maneater, it's like, what a shame. I don't know if I know we've talked offline about it, but the craziest thing about Demon Souls, where we go from here, and I guess we talked about with Fool's Idol. Fool's Idol is a fight I love thematically and atmospherically. It's so unsatisfying from a combat standpoint. The bosses of World 4 and 5 are so laughably easy, but again, they're just so thematically pleasing.
Yeah.
And then here is like, you actually have this kind of interesting story of this experiment, 2 experiments gone horribly wrong from the next boss we're going to get to. And you have this creature, and this snake both feeds off the man-eaters and empowers the man-eaters.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, like, if you make the needles of eternal agony, it talks about that it stabs its target, hooks its flesh into it, and slowly grinds away at the soul. Could it symbolize the relationship between the host and snake within the man-eater? So that seems to me that the snake is feeding on the man-eater, but they also get stronger. So you want to fight off the tail and stuff. Like, all of that's really cool and impressive to me. But whereas other bosses have great environments and look impressive and are just epic to fight, these guys aren't, and then they're completely lost to me. So
and
fuck man-eaters.
Yes, and I will say another thing, iterating, it did start the really great trend that's maximized in Dark Souls 1 of cutting tails off of bosses. I think it's the first, might be the only, I don't know if there's other things you can cut the scorpions you can cut the tail off of as you make your way up. But as far as bosses go, you can cut the tails off, and that gets done to great effect in the next game, Dark Souls. And then sort of trails off. They get away from it. But in Dark Souls in particular, they go ham with and it's great. Was there anything else you want to say about man-eaters before? I was going to read the next Archstone and keep going, or did you want to say anything else besides?
No, do it. Okay. I think it's clear. They're now, it's laughable. Like, now it's a joke how much I dislike them. If I did a list, it'd be interesting to compare man-eaters as, would they be in my top 5 least favorite Soulsborne? I think I'd have to exclude Elden Ring because there's so many generic bosses in Elden Ring that it's like, I think you'd have to like just do the main bosses if you were going to do a list with Elden Ring. For the bottom. So do they make it because they're a bad, what I would call programming and environment versus a really cool boss with a cool environment that's way too easy? I like, how do you, what's the redeeming quality there? Like, Man-Eaters is a hard fight.
Yeah.
Anyways, just an observation.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll do our top 5, and we should do our bottom 5 as well.
Yeah.
Of the whole series.
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
all
okay.
right.
Yeah. Let's get to 3-3 because it's very cool.
You defeat Man-Eater. You cross the platform. You get to the Archstone, and it seems like the Archstones sort of comment on what you've just done. So, the Demon Man-Eater Archstone says, "Masses of flesh litter these hanging prisons. Latria's current master, an old man who is no longer human, has been creating his own demons." And so now that brings us to 3-3, which, just to cover the level, it's you run up a flight of stairs. And it's, in 1-1, I know we talked about like the architecture, the design, and how it's very realistic, but also creates an amazing play experience. Here's something where I feel like, the boss is up above in a tower. So architecturally, the logical thing is you got to get up there, but they didn't knock it out of the park. Like, it's almost like reality dictated to them, well, it's got to be a circular staircase. And, we're stuck with that because that's what the architecture would be. I mean, I don't know what the actual design was, but like in certain games like Dark Souls 2, you're just like, wait a minute, why is it when you go up from this place, you end up at the base of a volcano? And it's like, geographically, it doesn't make any sense. This makes total logical sense, but it's just lame.
Right.
So, so let's
worth mentioning. You do fight a red man-eater.
One of the prison.
But between you say you just run up the stairs.
Yes,
there are some enemies, and there is one more red demon man-eater, but doesn't have the bullshit.
No, not yeah. It's one of the prison guards, right? Like, there's one of the tendrils, or is there a couple of them?
I just looked it up. I was like, what are those actually called? They are called man-eaters.
Oh, they are. The prison guards are called man-eaters.
Yeah,
okay, interesting. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you run up this circular staircase. It's too narrow to do anything except.
Oh no! I'm sorry. No. They're not called man-eaters. I looked at the wrong thing.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. They are. I don't want to give wrong advice. Mind flayers. They're mind flayers.
Mind flayers. Yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Man-eaters are like I think the gargoyle things.
Yeah. So
man-eater's the fucking boss.
They're the
what
boss.
The fuck, man? Okay, sorry.
And the gargoyles are gargoyles.
Right. Wow.
So that's how much we hate man-eaters. It's just sort of made a stroke out here. But yeah, so you run up the staircase. There's nowhere to go. You can't maneuver. You have these skittering creatures that are, more of these atrocities. A couple of the Red Phantom jail guards, and then you get to the fog gate. Now, I will say, we'll talk about the mechanics or whatever, and then we can really get it, because this is super interesting to talk about. It's incredibly dull to play, in my mind. At the same time, I spent more time, and this is something I want to get into, on 3.3 than I did on 3.2. And I'll explain why.
On your first playthrough?
No, this last time doing it for the show. And I'll get into that in a second.
Were you just getting on? Okay. All right. Yeah. I think we should start with the lore, right? Because I think we talked about. I think we spoiled this in 3.1, but this is the old Queen of Latria's husband, or the remains of him possessed by a cloak, a fancy hat. And ultimately he was banished here, and then brought about the total destruction of Latria. So, I think we talked about Latria's ruin last time, but this is the entity and possessed person responsible for all the nightmares that we just went through.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the death of the Queen of Latria and all that stuff. So
yeah, and it's revenge. Like part of it is, you know, like Latria was this place of knowledge, and he got banished, got pissy, came back, and sort of turned that search for knowledge against it, and used the knowledge to create these experiments that are these nightmares.
And then he summoned something that he couldn't control that took complete possession of him.
Yes.
I mean, right? Like, this robe, which is really the boss, is his own doing. So he brings about the destruction of Latria, and ultimately he brings about the destruction of himself.
Yeah.
And which is another piece of just amazing lore. I think the end pieces to each of these worlds are really impressive to me. I know people love World 4's final boss. I'm fine on it. I like Yorm the Giant way more. I'll just fucking say it. Dark Souls 3 is way better.
Yeah.
In terms of big fights with epic weapons. But like the ending to 5 is such a satisfying cap to the end of that level.
Yeah.
2, maybe it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but I do think it's this very interesting like reveal of like, oh, we dug too deep and we've I really like this theme of like, we're really building to cool final epic bosses at the end of these worlds, as you should. Yeah. And I think Old Monk just continues it with this really cool lore piece behind it. Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, the dark side in the forest, right? Like it's faster, but you're going to pay a price. And so, you know, he gets in bed with this demon robe. It helps him, you know, get to what he's trying to do, but there's a price to pay. You know, it's not a two-way street. You know, when the demon's done with you, the demon's done with you. And the demon is done with him when you enter the fog gate.
Yes. Can we talk about entering before we talk about the mechanics of what this is? Can we talk about how cool like the room is?
Oh yeah. It's like a throne room, but yeah.
Like what's the deal with all these fucking chairs?
Yeah.
Just like pushed to a corner, and I guess it's right. Like this, he's been sitting here. This robe has been sitting here until I guess just waiting. It's a very cool room. It's very unsettling. Again, very liminal-esque.
Yes. That's the thing. It's very unsettling when it's a room full of chairs, but there's like a central throne with this golden robed, you know, crust of a human being. It's almost zombified.
Remains.
Yeah. And then
zombified. That's
yeah, or mummified. Yeah, and then it's just stacks of these sort of royal dining chairs up to a peak. But the effect of it is it's creepy. And then there's like
it works really well.
Yeah,
it's hard to like. We're in podcast form, so if you're listening to this, it's hard. But it's just for whatever it just works. And it's just fucking chairs.
Yeah, it's just a couple chairs also scattered around. But yeah, it's such a really great arena. And then do you want to go into what happens when you go through the fog?
Yeah. Well, so you go in and it's his body, right? And you see this yellow cloak wrapped around him, but it kind of whooshes up in the air and it makes this tornado hat.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it possesses an invader.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if that's 100% lore wise, but it possesses an invader. And of course, the amazing reveal is that invader is a real player.
Yes. Genius
If
in theory.
If you're playing online and if, but yes, which is, again, so impressive for FromSoft. I have to tell you, the first time I ran into that was actually Dark Souls 3, and that blew my fucking mind.
Yes.
Because then I didn't know, I didn't know, I hadn't read about Demon Souls at that point. I was way into Dark Souls 3, and I was just like, holy shit, this was cool. And then to come back here and figure out they did it again, did it originally well before Dark Souls 3, that's super impressive.
Yes. Yeah, so part of the reason why, when I first jumped onto Demon Souls, I read a GameSpot review calling it the game of the year. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's crazy. So I played it, and I could not believe the things that they tried and kind of succeeded at. Like the player messages, sure, it didn't have co-op, but you had these player messages to help each other out and not need a wiki open. You have ways to summon other players in to help. You have summon other players in to invade and make it one of the bosses. It's just like so many cool ideas that nobody in their right mind would ever say, you should go take those chances. I think it's just the fact that nobody gave a shit about the game. And then like the president of Sony saying it's the worst thing he's ever played. Like they just took chances. I just don't know if anybody could under normal circumstances. And it's amazing.
The mechanics of this fight, I mean, Old Monk lore wise is really impressive, and then mechanically is such a bold approach, and it feels like a mechanic like you would talk about on the playground.
Yeah,
like if we were playing PS1 and like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could be like Liquid Snake or something like that, or like it's something you dream up as a kid, like it just feels like something my brother and I would have talked about while he played PS1 and like pretended to plug in my controller. Like we're finally here. My controller's finally plugged in. It's really impressive. I love it here.
Yeah.
I also particularly am fond of it in 3. Knowing that, doing it in Dark Souls 3 first, I didn't bother to go back and be the invader because I did that in 3. I joined that covenant to be able to do it in 3, and I was oh, this is really cool. But I never was the invader in Demon Souls, so I never got the giant tornado hat.
Okay. It's really interesting because like you walk through the fog gate, the like you were saying, the golden robe flies off. It abandons the person in the throne. It's saying like, I'm done with you. That person then finally expires, and it comes, like you said, the headdress on this summoned creature. And now, but here's what I'll say. This has the potential to make, in a weird way, the old monk the hardest boss in the game.
Yes.
And the reason why I spent more time on 3.3 than I did on 3.2 is because I was fortunate/unfortunate enough to have somebody who was better than I am and was sticking around. So every time I walked in there, it was the same person. And I just couldn't beat them because like the PvP people, a lot of them are extremely good. Like that's, they're extremely good. In other versions, not so much on a console, but more on PC versions, they can also cheat. But I don't think that's quite the case on the PlayStation 5. And so what would happen is like, you know what? I'm going to do it legit. I'm not going to. And then in the end, what I end up doing is I go offline because I was busy and I had stuff to do and I couldn't spend any more time. And so I've always said, if people watch any of my Souls recordings on the channel, I call Souls games like, this isn't insightful, but I call it a knife fight. Like they give you summons in Elden Ring, use them. You can over level, do it. Like you can do poison mist with a thief ring from behind a platform, go nuts. Like there's nothing that's in my mind cheap if it's built within the framework of the mechanics. This is the only time where I was like, nah, not going to use the framework of the mechanics. I'm just going to go out to the menu, pop offline so that I get the non-invader version of this boss because I've got stuff to do. And that made me sad that I did that.
I think that's a that may be amplified in 2025 because that guy waiting around very much makes me think of the same guy over and over again. It's someone who really likes PvP.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you played this on original release and people are discovering this, all you had to do was be an invader. You just basically had to turn on to be an invader, and you could be summoned in. I think I heard you could be summoned in before you kill Old Monk.
I think so.
And so that means you could get anyone of any skill level. All they would have to do is turn on the invasion. Whereas now, I feel like if someone is playing in 2025, they probably know. And they're probably doing it intentionally because they like doing that. Now, so in Demon Souls, you can just turn it on by consuming the item that allows you to invade. In Dark Souls 3, you have to join a covenant. And the only way you join the covenant is by beating the Old Monk version of the Dark Souls 3 boss.
Yeah.
And so, like, Bonfire side chat got so frustrated by the PvP boss of Dark Souls 3. It's in the expansion. Because they just got their asses whooped so much.
Yeah.
And it's just like which is unfortunate that this like really amazing part of the game got soured for them, because it's like they got to the point and then they were playing against people who had already done it, and so you have a little less variance, at least probably depending on when you play the game, less variance in the quality of player you get, whereas in Demon Souls you can get a Joe Schmo, and in Dark Souls 3 they would have at least to have cleared the challenge before. Now I guess they could do it offline or anything like that,
right.
But also if you attempt it 20 times, why don't you just go offline anyways?
Just go offline, right.
Or I guess unless you don't want to, I guess it's fair to say you don't want to feel cheated or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting they made that slight switch, and maybe that was to prevent people from spoiling the boss, being spoiled on the boss. Like if you're brand new to Demon Souls and you consume the item and then all of a sudden you're the Old Monk, you might be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. And to your point, like in 2025, this is going to be a very self-selecting group. And so you're going to get snipers that are coming in. And, you know, I've said I'm not very good at these games. I'm good enough to get through them, but I'm not great. So if you get some card shark who's going to show up, you know, because that's what they really want to do, I'm never going to be able to compete. And
yeah, I think it's like, like whatever the odds are, like 3 out of 4 are going to be people that love doing this and are good at PvP. And the one other person that you summon in is like me checking out Dark Souls 3 5 years after release. Like, I want to do it too. Just get my ass kicked. It's like, so like that does like, so mechanically this is so impressive. It's so bold, but just like the variance in how you enjoy this fight. And it's the exact same thing. That was my whole point of bringing up the Bonfire side walk with me. Like I really enjoy that fight. They really did not enjoy the fight in Dark Souls 3. And what that shows is these are great sounding concepts in theory, but it's really hard to regulate the variance.
Yeah. Either
it's going to be a cakewalk or you're going to get pantsed, or maybe one out of whatever many times. You have a great epic duel with a player. And that's unfortunate, but I don't know how you, I mean, it's the same thing with like playing a first person shooter, right? Like you're gonna host someone sometime, or not. It's not like you're playing, like Magic the Gathering or whatever, where there's like, you're constantly queuing up. So your elo goes up and down and there's like some kind of internal rate. We're like, you're not doing this enough to regulate the quality of a boss fight you're going to have. So mechanically it's impressive. It can be a very unsatisfying play experience.
Yeah. In practice. Now it's interesting. They do something that's interesting. You know, this mechanic, like you said, it's in Dark Souls 3. There's a similar boss fight in Dark Souls 2 that they bring in players. They don't do it in Dark Souls 1. Elden Ring had an interesting approach. I can't recall. Did you beat base Elden Ring? Did you get through most of it? Okay. I don't know if you remember
everything.
this.
I did everything I could in base Elden Ring, yeah.
Okay. So one part of the open world, you're on like this long rising sort of wide cliff. And at the top of it is like an arena that you can't actually go in. And then there's like a massive jar guy I don't know if he actually does anything, but what they do here is that when you get to that point, it ends up being like a 3-on-1 kind of fight, I think, or one, I forget what it was. And instead of summoning in players to fight you, they summon in the build of players that have successfully navigated this part, which I think is an interesting way to mitigate, skill level differences.
The variance.
Yeah, but it does at the end, you're still fighting an NPC, but I appreciated that they tried to iterate and find a sweet spot.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I was listening to like someone's best, but what is your favorite version of it? Because between Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3, because Dark Souls 3 was my first, and I love that game so much, and I know it's a divisive game, but I love the lore and the cap on the series. Dark Souls 3 is my favorite, but I've also heard the Dark Souls 2 one is like really impressive.
It's interesting.
For all of Dark Souls 2 problem, I've heard that's a good fight. I've never experienced it. I don't know what the twists or anything are.
Yeah, now the trick with the Dark Souls 2 fight is it's a sort of a late fight, and there's a boss that has sort of this mirrored shield, and the summoned creatures pop out of the shield. But I think it's not limited to one. Like if you take too long, another one might come. So, but I might be misremembering that. So it can get out of hand pretty quickly. I would say my favorite version of it is probably, I would say it's probably this one, because the first time that meaning this one being Demon Souls, because the first time that I played it was nearish to launch. And I think I got the experience that as intended, where it was a wide range of skills. It wasn't just card sharks. And so I was like, whoa. And so I was able to appreciate it. Dark Souls 3, again, because it wasn't my first, I thought it was cool, but it wasn't my first. And so
I think I'd share the same sentiment, right? Like I've been here, I've done it. And then again, I think you have a higher chance of getting a more skilled player because they have more hoops to jump through to intentionally be summoned as that boss. Whereas here I could see it being a little more accidental. But I do think, I bet all of those instances, whether you're playing Dark Souls 3 or you're playing Demon Souls on the PS5 relaunch or just with PS3, I bet at launch is probably the best time to experience that. Yeah. But then again, you could also just like, who's this guy? Art. And he just pants him.
That's how it'd go. Yeah. And the interesting thing is in Dark Souls 3, it's not just that you have to join the Covenant. So it requires, some commitment, and you also have to get through the Ring City. Because yeah, it's on the other side of a lot of the Ring City, and some of that Ring City early stuff is tough. It is tough. A tough DLC in my mind.
You have to go into the city to get the Covenant. It's not because you fight the boss before you go in the city, right? I can't. It's been a while since I played that expansion, right?
In my mind, it's after you do the bulk of the city, and it's not that far from the end of the game. It's one of the last bosses you fight.
I thought it was before the city, like when you were doing the angels shit. I thought it was the boss, like.
No, I think it's well after that. It's after the angels. It's after when you're running across the platforms with all the ghost archers that go and you're just dead. At least I thought
it was right before them.
No, I think it's right after. Or I thought it was always right before.
I thought it was like what led into the Ring City. Obviously, I need to play more Dark Souls 3. I think we all need to play Dark Souls 3 more. I'm so behind on your videos, and I feel so bad. Like, all of my YouTube watching time, like work has been laser focused. And like sometimes, like if I'm doing like a menial task, I find listening to your voice on your video game stuff like is like I can take it in and really appreciate it as good, like a replacement for music. I don't want to like say background because I am listening and I take it in, but I've like had been like, and I feel bad because like I want to watch more of your Dark Souls 3 stuff because
I appreciate that.
I'm so happy you're playing it.
I always sit there wondering, like, because I see some people do stuff on YouTube where there's just no commentary. I'm like, should I just not talk?
No, I enjoy it.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it because I riff on whatever comes to mind as I'm watching. But yeah, and so let me just, not that we have to be done, but let me just read the Archstone after you beat the monk.
Sure.
And it says, his revenge complete, the old man withered. possessed by golden robes of insanity. Too weak to be a demon's vessel, his soul was eaten. So it sort of highlights what we're talking about. The demon's the robe, determines he's too weak, sees something better, abandons him, leaves him to die. And so the demon, the mummified old man who was hell-bent on revenge is killed by the very vessel he used to achieve that revenge, which is thematically very nice.
Just a couple, I think, so you take his spirit and you turn it into the homing soul arrow.
Yes.
And it says the old man was nothing more than a medium for the robe that drives men mad. The spell reflects the old man's nature to yearn for power that was not his. Then you can get a banish black phantoms as well, but I think the homing soul arrow is the only one that has the flavor text.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the insanity catalyst. So if you have no future to lose, then who could blame you for placing your faith in the golden robes? And I've never looked at this before, but the insanity catalyst, which is a wand basically, has like golden wrappings around the base of it.
Oh, interesting. I'm not a Magic player, so I don't know if I've ever seen it, but that's really interesting.
Yeah, I may have to go make this on this build. I was going to get the spells, but maybe I might go make that just because it's so cool. So there's a little bit more lore there in the after effects if you choose to do something with his soul.
Very nice. Well, let me ask you, Matt, is there anything else you wanted to say about 3.2 and 3.3? Did we cover it? Is there
I know this is Demon Souls, but I do want to ask. I think you got some tragic news that you lost your save on Dark Souls 3.
Yes. My own doing, but yes.
So, because I'm behind, I want to get a pulse check. Like, have you been enjoying it? And do you, are you heartbroken enough where you're going to play through and try to catch up, or are you going to call it?
Okay, so a couple things. Yes. Now, for the record, on the channel, we've got, it's a lot of my computer role-playing games. There's a lot in the bank. There's stuff ready to go through probably Christmas at the time of this recording, just
nice.
Spacing it out. I'll tell you where I was at when I lost my save. I was at the Twin...
Let me guess. I'm going to guess, because I'm behind, Swamp of Sorrows.
The Twin Princes. Last...
Fuck, that fight's so good.
Yes.
Did you beat him, or were you at...
No, okay. I died a couple times. I'm like, you know what? It was at the end of a long session, and I was like, let me try it a couple times. I'm not going to get it, but this video is already 4 hours long. Let me stop and I'll pick it up there. And if you've watched, especially my Lord of the Rings Online playthroughs at some point, I've been having a lot of weird issues. I used to have weird issues with Riverside. I think I cleaned some of those up, but I can tell you, for a while, my monitor would just shut off. Don't know why.
Weird.
And what I was experiencing right before all of this was a lot of weird issues, but OBS, when I'm recording, would suddenly, and it happens in one of the ends of the Lord of the Rings Online, just goes to 5 frames per second, and I don't know what was going wrong. So then I'm like, something's really weird. A lot of programs are being weird. My monitor just turns off sometimes. And because of certain things going on in my life, I might need this computer to become my main video editing work computer. I can't have this. And so I was like, I'm going to reinstall Windows. And so I copy my documents folder because most save games are there. And then I'm like, and I'm sure if I screwed it up, Steam Cloud's got my back. Dark Souls 3 does not use Steam Cloud. And
shit.
And and just for the people out there, it does not take advantage of Steam Cloud. And its save games are not in the documents folder. It's in a hidden app local folder or something buried in the Windows structure. And what's dumb is I back up. If you back up the whole hidden folder, it's 60 gigs. So I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to take the time. And so I know okay, I need to grab DaVinci Resolve because that's where it saves the project. I didn't realize Dark Souls 3 put its saves in this hidden folder. I thought it was in, somewhere accessible. So I fired it back up. I'm like, okay, let me just pick this back up. Let me, and I'm like, there's no continue. So
no.
it's just offering me new game. So I'll tell you, I am.
I completely understand if you're disheartened. I would probably call it.
I was disheartened,
really
and now I'm already back to Irithyll.
I guess now you can just kind of run through and do what you want to do, because you know what's a shame of that is like Twin Princes, because did you fight because Twin Princes is like after the guy in the church, and like after holy shit, I'm forgetting Dark Souls 3 names. What is happening in my brain? Like that is after, like when you find Gwen's chamber and stuff, right?
Yes.
Like it's pretty late, but it is the point when I'm gonna look up the Dark Souls 3 bosses in order real fast.
I mean, I'll say for me, it's my last boss before the end game. It's my last Lords of Cinder that I need to put on the throne, and then that opens up the end game.
Okay, but it opens up such a big part behind them, right?
Yeah, like when you go up on the roofs with the 3 giant.
Yeah, like you still have to go through the library right after them.
No, that's before you take the library to get to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I would still have the DLCs to do, but base game, I was almost at the end when I lost my save.
Okay.
And it's my own doing.
That's right.
So
that's right. No, I just had to think. I typically take the path of through Pontiff and Aldrich, and then go do the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Dancer is in there. And I think I was kind of confusing what happens after Dancer, because after Dancer is you go up to Dancer, and then you get to like the library and stuff. You go back up on the, okay. So okay. I was going to say, okay. Dang, that's too bad. That being said, Twin Princes it's
a good fight.
Good fight. And I'm looking at this like flowchart. I love the Dark Souls 3 bosses.
Well, someday.
So much. Have you been enjoying your play of it?
Definitely. I may have said this already. Dark Souls 3 is my favorite Souls, actual original Souls to play. You know, it's a 60 frame per second.
Fair.
Like it's got a lot of polished mechanics, a lot of upgrade material you can respec, which is not the first time, but it sort of brings the whole package together to make it like a really playable experience.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
So there's a lot of areas that I don't love, but because it's so playable, it's not a chore to get through the way it might be. Like
what areas don't you love?
Well, we got to save that for when we get to Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that'll be so good. We have to do that next. Just skip it. Fuck it. Just go
no,
straight
we can't
to
skip it. We got to do Dark Souls 1 and then Dark Souls 2, Matt.
I do want to play Dark Souls 2. That'll be a 2026 project. I think I've heard enough, and like I've set my expectations enough that I think I'm going in with the right mindset. I just seen the list from Pontiff Sullivan, Aldrich, Sister Frida, and then even just remembering like, okay, even like Eudex Gundar is one thing, but then I just saw like Champion Gundar, and then I just remembered like what's past Champion Gundar, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, Dark Souls 3 is so good.
Yeah. So all we have to do is hunker down, get through Demon Souls, then Dark Souls 1,
keep these going.
Dark Souls 2, then Dark Souls 3, baby. Except Bloodborne comes first.
You know what I need to start doing is like we come from board games. This was our shared mutual hobby before this, and I'm sure you maybe use Pub Meeple to do the board game ranker where you compare A versus B, and then it remembers A is above B, and then you compare C versus B, and then C and it ranks your favorite games by looking at 2 things at a time. I need to start doing that as every boss is fresh in my mind.
Nice.
because like some of them, it's very easy for me to look back on Dark Souls 3 with very rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I think Udix Gunner is an amazing fight. It's not hard, but it's such a good first boss fight. And it's just like, oh yeah, I'm fighting him. And then it's like, oh my God, what's on his back? It's like, what the fuck just happened? And I love that.
Yeah.
But also I know that it's like some of that's rose tinted. So it's like, I need to keep like a current ranking. So when we do our tops and least favorite bosses, it's like, at least like everything was at the moment when I thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll get there someday.
Sure.
There's no shortcuts in my mind. We have to do this. Proper.
In
but
order. It's a reason to replay Dark Souls, which is
it's a good one. It's a really good one.
It is the best form of Unga Bungaing.
Yes, and it's short. It's really short. I mean, all things considered, when you're pretty skilled, it's short. Anyway.
Well,
did we cover?
So 3-2-3-3. I think just closing thoughts for me. I beat the dead horse of great story, great visual and environmental storytelling through and through. Great lore. That ultimately, just in terms of play quality, if we talk about how enjoyable Dark Souls 3 is to play, 3-2 is a nice counterpoint to that. And it's like, you really built something special here in a lot of different ways. You were bold and tried this flying boss on a very narrow platform that's going to challenge you in an environment. That's really bold. It didn't work there, but then you get this great PvP themed boss that I think is a success. Even if you have these variances, they pulled it off, and it's really impressive. So I think 3-1 through 3-3, all in all, is a world that is a massive success to me. It's just in terms of wanting to go back and play it, 3-2 ranks probably at the bottom of my want to revisit.
Yeah. It's not a world one Boletaria where I love the stories and the lore, and I love actually playing it. It with the levels, I have to choose one or the other. And that's fine, because I love what I love about them so much that choosing one or the other is not that bad.
Every Souls game needs its catacombs.
Yeah.
And I, like this may be my catacombs, even with some of the challenges in future levels. It's something. So
yeah. All right.
Very good, Art. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciated it.
Very nice. And again, to everybody who watched this, thank you so much for checking this out. At the time of this recording, this isn't that big of a deal. But we hit 400 subscribers. So again, it's, Critical Role and then us. I mean, I get it. It's not but we appreciate everybody who subscribes to this. We're obviously having a very good time, and we're looking forward to keeping it going. So thank you to everybody who checks this out. If you prefer audio, we're mainly a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. This is one of the things we love to do, but that's the main focus of the channel. You can check out all the systems that we have on this on YouTube. Like and subscribe if that's your thing. If you prefer audio versions of this stuff, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever you get your podcasts. We should show up. We have a Discord. If you want to jump in, chat about this kind of thing. We've gotten a game or two arranged. There's chatter about maybe some other ones. One we're yet to see, and another one might get thrown out there soon. We'll have to see. But it's basically just us hanging out, talking about RPGs. But yeah. Oh, and do we want to decide now what comes next, or do we want to figure it out offline? I don't know when we'll get back to this, but do we want to pick the next? Is it just going to 4? We've done one part of it. We've done all of 2, all of 3. Where did you go? Do you remember?
I believe I went through 4 and then through 5.
Okay. You want to just tackle?
Oh, no. We go back to 1-3. 1-3, right?
Do you want to go back to 1-3? And you can.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. 1-3.
Yes. You could technically beat 1-3 and 1-4. I don't think you have to do them in order. Once you
I think we should do 1-3 next.
Want to do 1-3 next? Yeah. I love that level. So
1-3 is a great fucking
Yeah, so we'll so that whenever we get back to this, we'll tackle 1-3 next. That sounds great. But cool. Otherwise,
we could do 4. We'll either be at 4-1 or 1-3 if you happen to be following along with us. I mean, I don't know if anyone is. This is a game that's 20 years old at this point. Whatever, you get it.
Yeah. All right.
So-
Well, we'll figure it out. And yeah, wild card pitches. All right. Well, Matt, thanks for jumping in, and I hope you're doing well. And everybody have a good night.
Awesome. Good night, everyone.